Welcome to the Architect of Resilience podcast, where we explore the secrets of overcoming life's challenges and unlocking unstoppable strength through deep personal conversations and expert insights.
Welcome to another episode of the Architect of Resilience. Yes, I know I say it on the start of every single one, but this is your podcast. This is about you and you becoming the architect of your own resilience, to be able to create a stronger version of yourself, to open yourself, to not look through fear and to clear that from your lens, to find the opportunities, the things in the chaos and the uncertainty of the world around you that are going to be able to propel you and leverage you to the next level. So this is where we have unconventional conversations where we dive deep into what it really means to be strong. And so this week, I've got another amazing special guest for us, Don Saladino. So Don is a renowned fitness expert, we'll say entrepreneur, but I'd say more of an icon of helping people become and grow as entrepreneurs. He's a keynote speaker, obviously a phenomenal expert in strength training, nutrition, and overall wellness. I absolutely love the messaging that he constantly puts out there that is just fundamentally great for outside of our fitness realm, where we can be a little bit in our own little bubble, but usable, practical, really valuable advice for anyone at any level. Now, people often want to talk to Don. He's known as a celebrity trainer, which absolutely he is. Hollywood actors, including Ryan Reynolds, Sebastian Stan, Blake Lively. There's a lot of amazing people, but we're not going to really spend a lot of time on that because I want to talk about the things of why he's sought after to be a speaker and an educator in our industry and what it makes to build a stronger version of you and a stronger version of those trying to chase business in this field, which can be a little challenging. So, welcome to the show, Don. Hopefully that's a thorough enough intro.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. It's a great intro, and I'm grateful. And Chris, been a big fan of yours for quite some time.
Thank you. Same. Now, it can be it's an interesting site. I think it's a good time to talk about it, but we didn't get off to the best start. No. It was a little rocky. When I'm lifting, my audience knows me. Like I'm in my zone, and I have to really focus when I have a big lifting thing, and it's like my team will make sure that I've got my space to get in the zone. And that doesn't tie in too well sometimes if you're at events and people, so Don approached me and I was a dick, basically.
I should know better. I gotta be honest. When I see a guy about to get under 800-900 pounds, I think that was that had to be 10 years ago. So it was about 10 years ago. Yeah, it had to be. So in all fairness, I'll take some of the blame also. I probably should have just. Chris, we'll talk about your bars later on.
Yeah. So we got a booth. I think it was at the NSCA or something, and we had an event scheduled that weekend to try to draw some audience. And I was going to do 800 for a 500-pound back squat with the Duffalo bar. And so I'm in the back of the booth setting up, and Don comes up. I didn't know who he was. I wasn't really big into the social stuff at the time, and he's trying to ask me questions, and I'm like, can I get with you later? Whatever it was, but. Several years later, I reached out to Don, and I just love you were direct. I mean, you didn't call me, a dick, which I was at the time, but you understand, we both had our spots in place, but you were very upfront, and a lot of people aren't. It's just like, they wouldn't even respond. If I turned somebody off, they just wouldn't respond or not have an open conversation. You said, hey, let's talk through this. I just want you to know this is, where we're at, but yeah, let's have a conversation.
That's why, and I think in credit to you here, maybe I fired something back that was a little jabby, but still in a nice, it wasn't overbearing, but I think your response was A+ because you just kind of unloaded and said, listen, this was a, time in my life, and I was working on things, and you kind of sent me this whole novel, and I read it, and I was like, oh my God. And this gets into, I think, relationships now, right? Because you went and you did something really nice where you, I think, felt bad and you knew I wanted it to get one of your bars. So you sent me a bar, no charge. So what did I do? I felt bad because I don't like free stuff. So I went and I bought a bar. Then you sent me another bar, and then I bought another bar. And at that point, I'm like, all right, this guy's all right. And the next thing you know, we're coming on each other's podcasts. The next thing you know, we're talking about cars. The next thing you know, I'm trying to help promote what I think are the best bars on the planet and in your business, and you're trying to put me on a pedestal. So it's like, come on, like this is part of it. It's just good people trying to do good things, and you got to give people the benefit of the doubt. There's plenty of times someone's rubbed me the wrong way. Maybe I have said something that I regret, but in life, you take ownership. You took ownership over it, and now I consider you a friend. So I think we're in a good place.
Yeah. I mean, you, in your reach out, there was a little bit of some barbs in there, and very easily somebody could have just like taken it the other way again. And honestly, I took it as valuable. And I think I responded to you saying, hey, I appreciate this feedback, and I could have done better, or at least set myself up for success if I knew that I could be interacting with people and couldn't be in that phase. Like, and so I took it as a learning opportunity, and I really appreciated the feedback from you, and I was open about that. And so, and I think that's a lesson for everyone, because it's, again, we both kind of hit it off the wrong way with each of those conversations, but we're both open and willing to listen. And actually, we've built I would say, very solid friendship.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. So I you know what, it's one of those things where I'm actually glad it happened that way, because, you know, again, you learn about people, and you give people the benefit of the doubt, right? Like normally, where maybe years ago, maybe I'm not responding, you know, but I think it was the things that you said, and it really shined a really nice light on you, and now we move forward, you know.
Tex, if you want to build more physical resilience in your life, you need to start with a firm foundation. That's why I only wear barefoot shoes. Their wide toe box, zero drop heel, and flexible frames allow me to comfortably strengthen my foot every day while promoting optimal body mechanics, postural alignment, and movement. Listeners can get 10% off by using the code RESILIENCE at barefoot.store. That's BEAR foot.store for 10% off with code RESILIENCE. Start improving how you move today with barefoot shoes.
Speaking of, resilience and getting stronger, it is one of those things that's like a workout that's hard to walk into and go, you know what? I was not the best version of myself. I've got something to learn there, and I'm going to be open with somebody about it. And maybe this isn't starting out, and maybe this won't be successful. I don't know the outcome of my, reaching out, and he might still continue to blow off. I've done this before, and it hasn't worked out. But that's an opportunity. Like, the fact that it went wrong ended up being better. And that is so valuable. And so we're talking about communication, network building, things that are really valuable, as a person, not as a entrepreneur or business, like just personal development. And this is fundamentally some of the essence of, the discussion, what I appreciate about this and want to pass on. So
I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to your work in this field as a whole, I have to ask, what was the motivation for you to be in this career as a whole, and some of the shifts and where you've refined that to?
Yeah, it's a great question. I really think my journey started in the second grade. I had a bad hearing and stuttering problem, and at a young age, you're trying to find that thing that's going to give you confidence and significance, right? I started becoming an athlete and got into baseball with my father, and was getting made fun of at school at a really young age. And at that time, they put you in a classroom with 5 kids, and then everyone's calling you names, and you're coming out, and you don't know how to deal with it as a kid. I remember coming home to my mom, I was upset. I'm like, I got to find what I'm good at. My mom's like, you're going to be good at a lot of things. So, fast forwarding, I start playing ball with my dad. I start getting really good. And I remember going out in the schoolyard one day and just kind of cleaning up. And I came home, I looked at my mom, and I said, I'm good at something. And she goes, I told you, you're going to be good at a lot of things. And then that became a driving force for me. I saw some guys on magazine cover when I was probably 12, 13 years old. One guy by the name of Mike O'Hearn, one guy by the name of Frank Seppi. These guys are 5, 6 years older than me. So you figure they're probably 18, 19 years old, when I'm young. And I remember, being infatuated with muscle, seeing the Hulk, Arnold, watching movies, and just having this like connection with strength. I just wanted to be stronger than everyone. I loved being tough. I loved being gritty. I loved working hard. I felt like that was one thing I can control. I couldn't be the most talented person in the room always, but I can be the hardest worker. So, I ended up going off to play collegiate baseball. I had a really good career. I played Division I college baseball. I had a great 4 years. I was a captain for 2 years. Loved being a leader. And the training piece of it was something I was so overboard with. My coach looked at me and he was like, you don't need the guys on the team don't want you lifting with them during workouts because they go do your own thing. You could do your own thing. So I was like, really? Like, why? Like, I didn't really get it. So, but they didn't even want me, like my teammates didn't even want me in a room with them when I was training because they knew I was nuts. So, fast forwarding now, baseball doesn't work out after college. And I remember having a conversation again with my mom. She was a big force in my life. And I remember turning to her and being like, God, I got to find a job with the gym. She's looking at me like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, I can't imagine going off into an office. Like, I interned for Payne Weber for 2 years and I started learning about stocks and investing and I majored in business. I wasn't an idiot, but I just couldn't imagine going off and working in some financial institution or whatever. And I said, well, maybe an FBI agent, maybe a cop. And she's like looking at me like, that's not what you want to do. I'm like, yeah, but I got to be near the gym. She's like, well, there's these trainers out there that I'm reading about. This is back in like 1998, 99. And I'm like, yeah, but they don't make money. And she goes, don't worry about money. Go after what it is you love. You've always been good at everything you've done. Like, you're going to be good at this. So I said, great. So immediately, like, I went in, I got a job at a gym in the city, worked there for about a year, broke off there, started my own training business. A few years in, I realized that I wanted to open my own gym. And so I went out, I raised $5 million as a young kid. I ran it through independents and just angel investors.
That's good, man.
A lot of money. Yeah, it's a lot of money. So I did that. I didn't know shit. I mean, I knew business. We put together a business plan and we went out to Titleist Performance Institute because my brother was a professional golfer at the time, turned back amateur. I was a baseball player, worked a lot with rotational sports, was a trainer, but was a strength and conditioning coach also. So really kind of lived in this world of performance physique, was already getting on a couple magazine covers and loved the elements of like performing, but also taking my shirt off and looking a certain way. I was never a bodybuilder, never had the urge to compete, but loved like being strong, but having single digit body fat. So, we opened this golf fitness training facility in New York City back in 2005. And then my next project was I raised about $1.5 million to start an app company, which I did with some professional athletes. Long story behind that. And then I raised money again to open my third club. And then, just basically started building social media, started really understanding brands, started working with a lot of companies, Garden of Life. I ended up on running when they launched for years, Oura Ring, I just go on and on and on and on, all these companies that I can't exactly. But I came on, and what was interesting about my background was I had this digital background with opening my company Driven with those professional athletes, Adrian Peterson, Dwayne Wade, and Ernie Els. But I also was in the brick and mortar space in New York City. I understood strength and conditioning. I understood rotational sports, but I understood contest dieting. So I really started falling into this niche where most people would be, and golf performance. I'm sorry, I'm the head golf fitness instructor for all of Golf Channel, even now. So it was very weird. Like people were watching my path, and golf instructors were like, "He's not into golf. He's on magazine covers." And the bodybuilders were like, "He's not a bodybuilder. He's a golf guy." And it was like, I kind of wore a lot of hats, but I didn't realize it. And I was developing this brand. I became this person who really understood business. I really understand brand strategy. I really understand startups and what it takes and structuring deals with, brand partners, influencers, call them what you want. But, training for me has always been the bread and butter. Met a guy by the name of Hugh Jackman while I had my golf fitness club. And he looked at me and he said, I want to train with you. So we started training for a year. There was no social media back then. And he was trying to do press with me. And I was like, no press. Like, let's just get you into a good place. Like, there's no Like, this is not about me. This is about you. And I developed this reputation in the business. I was someone that any celebrity in Hollywood, almost all the big celebrities in Hollywood, I mean, anyone from Dwayne Johnson to obviously now Ryan Reynolds to Hugh, I go on and on and on and on, train half in the Marvel world, but they would come by my club and they would have this place of privacy. And for me, I became a connector. I mean, I could turn around an MRI in 2 hours with the team from HSS. Like, I had functional medicine doctors, I work with nutritionists. We were doing kinematic sequencing upstairs for the swing. Like, it was, I just felt like I can get on the phone and connect with anyone. And I just built up this really great reputation throughout the year. So in May of 2020, my 15-year lease expired, on my clubs, and my club was forced to close March 16th of, 2020. So I paid the landlord about $200,000. Here's the life of the lease. And that December, I've realized, like, oh my God, my digital business is very successful at this point, and I don't need to go back into brick and mortar. There's a way I can do this where I think I can really, really scale and really enjoy. So I built this facility that's 60 feet from my backyard. It's called the Barn, and it's a 2,000 square foot facility, right? And then we're just, what's that?
I was just say I'm so jealous. I've been waiting to get out there. We've been talking about it for like a year. But man, your place is just is bomb.
It's fun. We've all these great bars downstairs. We got these kabuki bars; they're unbelievable. We got a whole rack of them. But it's fun. It's a place where, guess what? You can throw weights. You can get on machines. Deadlift, scream, do what you got to do. We got great recovery. A couple feet from this front door here, we've got a plunge. We've got a 5-man outdoor sauna. We're going to put a track back out here. We've got an outdoor Move Strong jungle gym. It's just a big trainer's heaven. It's nice. Like a place where we just shoot content out of here and we edit content. And I don't really work with anyone anymore one-on-one. I mean, I was with Ryan Reynolds over in London last week for a week, but he's like a brother to me, and him and his wife, I'll do anything for. So, fortunately, my training book has really diminished. I get really more hired for projects. So I saw John Krasinski today. He's Jack Ryan. I saw Matt Damon today from my buddy Ben Bruno. That's training with my buddy Gabe, but I'm also coming in and helping out on occasion. So I'll do checkups with these guys, and it's been a very fulfilling way to be a coach.
I see more and more why we hit it off all the time. Like, your path is so interesting, and I have to commend your mom. Like, this, you'll figure it out. Don't worry about the money. Do what you love, and then you continuing to do that and not putting yourself into a box, into a paradigm, and learning and developing these skills in these different areas. Because the beautiful thing about this day and age, and you're ahead of the times, is that you can really create a job out of anything. My wife cooks barbecue at home for a living, not a meal prep business, not like that's what she wants to do. Cook barbecue and engage and teach people. Like, it's whatever you want to do, like, just dive in and get really, really good. Find your passion and chase those things. And you've continued to do that and create this multidisciplinary approach, which is really, really amazing to see, because it does add tremendous value. So,
and it's interesting sometimes, right? Because we're in this day and age where everyone wants to be very organized and systematic, and I get it and I respect it, and but God, back in '99 when I got into this business, like, if you were going to turn around and tell me I'm doing what I'm doing now, 3/4 of the stuff didn't exist.
Didn't exist. Yeah.
About, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm going to be able to, what's a Zoom, right? Yeah. It's like what are we on right now? It's like, this didn't exist. To connect with people, you had to be in person, and to be successful as a coach, you had to open multiple gyms. It's just what happened. Like, I saw the Errico family when I went and worked at Equinox in '99. Like, they sold, I think it was 7. I'm getting this wrong. 7 or 8 gyms or 6 gyms. They sold it for like $150 million, and you're sitting there looking at that going, this is what I want to do. And now, it's so much different. So a lot of the coaches out there listening, sometimes you want to map out this perfect plan, but if you looked at my roadmap, it's going to be like this, but I'm always climbing and I'm always in a better place. And for every time in life, I line I love to use is I felt like I was being rejected in the moment. I got redirected. And even now, like I could lose a brand deal and I'm like, all right, what's going to come next? Right? I'm almost like rolling it off till it's like, okay, like we're going to just pivot and I'm going to turn this into something better. Like you just get to the point where you just believe that like anything that gets thrown at you in business, you're going to be able to handle. I almost missed 37 consecutive payrolls, man. I mean, that's going to bed and not knowing if you could pay your staff, like having to come up with $50,000, $100,000. I mean, yeah, I had to raise $1 million in 1 year in prepaids, and I had to work that off and train it. So when people want to talk to me about the hustle, I'm like, come on, man. Like I was getting in at 3:30, 3:45 in the morning, training every session to burn down $1 million that I did in about 18 months. As a coach, to burn down that amount of money, you're going to work a lot. So, when it comes to work, I have no problem doing it. I love it, right? I think now I'm almost at this stage where I'm like, I love to continue to work hard, and I am working as hard as I ever have. But now it's like you see this direction, and it's so exciting because you can create so much more opportunity for so many more people.
Is it even work though? I mean, it's your life. Everything's in it. Like that's the beauty of like when you chase this and you get there and you find that flow. It is something that is like same thing. Work harder than I ever worked my life. Yet I still have more time for like my family and other stuff because I don't have all this ancillary to like chase and fill myself. It's in what you do. So you're not like doing all these other things out there because it's in the body of like your work and being. And that's an amazing place. Now I want to say something. There's so many topics that you hit on there, but painting your own path. Like this is where I try to encourage people to have a vision of like what they want to be and how they like their values and the important things in life and to chase that because you can't map all of that. Like your story is an articulation of that. And I could just think like in your company, what if somebody comes in, they go, well, what's the career opportunity? Where will I be in 2 years? And it's like, well, 2 years ago, your job probably wouldn't even have existed. So how do I look at where we're going and what we're doing? And we're going to find that together. I mean, is that an accurate summary? Like, how would you coach somebody
it's really
like
accurate.
coming to work for you? Like, what's the trajectory? What's the path? Like,
it's so funny, and you nailed it. I mean, there's just so many opportunities that just that are, if you put yourself in the right place and you surround yourself with the right people and you hustle and you treat people the right way, opportunities are going to get thrown at you, right? I mean, back in 2020, I'm sitting here trying to renegotiate a lease, and March 16th, I should have panicked, right? Like here, they told me how to close my business. They didn't tell me when I was going to reopen. It happened to all of us. I had a full staff, probably 20, 25, 30 people working for me, and trainers. And it was just like the situation was, we're all in it. We got to make this happen, right? And my wife and I are in our house clearing out a living room, and we shot a workout, about 50 workout videos that I created, like a body weight program. And the next day, I was getting a call from every publication to where they're like, "Would you give us an arm workout? Would you give us an ab workout?" I'm like, sure. I'm like, how about this? I'll give you 4 weeks, in 2-week progressions, all video library. Give it to all. Well, no one's going to pay for them. Nope, we're giving it for free. But you collect 200,000 emails in 4 weeks, right? So you're sitting here going, okay, wow, there's some opportunity, and then you got to double down. So now every publication's calling me up, going, could you do a live workout today? Sure. Well, I didn't realize I committed to 4 to 5 live workouts a day for the next 30 days. That's 120 to 150 real-time workouts in 30 days. I mean, I lost like 12 pounds.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be, yeah.
But like, you know what? What are you going to do? Am I going to sit there and talk about my readiness or talk about, my lifting sessions? And by the way, I still lifted, right? Let's be very clear. I brought my equipment in because I had to do real lifting first thing, and I had to do it first thing, right? But there was just this discipline, whether it's smart or whether it's not smart, or whether people are like, you need to take time off. It was about this. Yeah. It's never about this for me. It's about this. So for me, it's like, there's opportunity. I'm going to capitalize on that opportunity. If I have to work out 5 times, if I have to work out 120, 130, 140 times that month, which is what I did, which is unheard of, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get through it. I'm going to be sore. I'm going to lose some weight. And you know what? I'm still here. And that allows me to put myself into a situation. Either that or I could sit home and watch Netflix. So what is it? Am I going to sit there and cry and watch Netflix and say, oh, this is unfair? Oh my God, 15 years of my gym and I'm going to lose it and I'm going to lose all this opportunity. Or am I just going to say, listen, let's go, man. Like this could be an opportunity. And you know, you take lemons, you turn into lemonade, hopefully.
So how do you go about, or how maybe there's events, a series in your life, or just your mental approach to have or develop that confidence to know when I've failed, I've got myself $1 million into, I'm gonna get out of this. I'm gonna come out. Like you're talking about, if I lose this deal, I'm not worried because I know I don't have anything in front of me right now. But how have you developed that confidence in that practice?
You know what? One, I think it's from failing a lot. So, and I'm not sitting here like I failed more than of course I have. But I mean, every successful person, when you look at their resume, they failed. Like that's why I love. Like I just watched the McGregor documentary. You don't realize the failures that he goes through. I watched the Beckham documentary.
Oh man, the Beckham documentary is fucking. I love that thing. Oh my God.
Unreal. I watched the Johnny Manziel documentary. You're sitting here, you're like pulling your hair out, like holy shit. Like these people who are great at one point, like they crash, and you got an opportunity to either stand back up or fold. I mean, I was talking about it today. You know, it's funny. Most people out there, they have a bad day of eating. Like, listen, I'm very strict with my diet, but when I go and I want to eat something, I eat and I don't even regret shit. I'm like, no way. If I'm going to eat, I'm going to have the burger. I'm going to have the fries. I'm going to have the ice cream. I might have a beer or two and enjoy myself. And the next day, I'm not fasting. I'm not ready to hang myself. I'm going back to doing everything that I do, the principles that I follow. But like most people out there, they turn around, they have a couple of bad days of eating, and then they fall into this depression. And I thought about it. I was like, wow, everyone that I've seen that's great that are in sports, right? Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, right? Like Kobe Bryant. Like you hear the story about Kobe, like having a bad game.
Yeah.
Like, did he go home and bury his head in popcorn and drink soda? Or did he turn around and go into the gym and shoot? So you start looking at these very successful people. My guy Ryan Reynolds he could have walking pneumonia. He's not turning around saying, I can't go to set. He's not turning around saying, I can't train today. Like there are times he'll take off, but he knows that like you're not turning around to a set of 100 people saying, sorry guys, I have the sniffles today. Yet the other day I go into the city to go to a breakfast to meet an investor, and he calls me up because he has a cold and he says, I can't make it. Like, what the fuck? Like, seriously, like, right? It's like, you think about the mindset. If this same investor was going on a vacation, do you think he's turning around on Christmas Day saying, well, I'm supposed to fly out my family to Turks and Caicos and I've got a cold, so I don't want to get on the plane because I'm going to get you sick. But he's telling me he doesn't want to get me sick. What's going to happen when does that make sense? Like you get where I'm going right now. So people set up this like barrier where like suddenly they start, maybe they have a bad day and they just want to sulk over it. They just want to feel bad for themselves. Yet all the other people out there that I just mentioned, you know, the Beckhams, you know, the Conor McGregors, like these people hit like rock bottom and then they turn around and then they find a way to come back and they find a way to push. And they find a way to get themselves on the top. I mean, I had a conversation with Calvin Klein, like one of the most recognizable names on the planet. And CK's turning to me saying, oh my God, I was walking on the beach with my daughter at one point. I thought I was going to lose my entire business. Joe Horowitz, the founder of Tommy Hilfiger, was saying that he was sleeping under a desk for almost 2 years. Like, oh my God, these are people that are billionaires. They've created like massive public companies. They weren't sitting there the whole time like this. Like there was a level of failure and success, but that's what separates the champions from like the people who just are going to sit there and feel bad about themselves and cry me a river. Like you got to develop that mental resiliency. You have to realize that when you turn around and you go in to hit a bench press and you don't hit it, you've got an option. You can quit and be upset, or you can turn around and say, well, why? Did I not get enough sleep? All right. Have I been, crazy with my training lately and just doing too much volume? Have I progressed anything? Have I added in lateralizations when I've hurt myself, or I've forced myself into positions that my body doesn't want to go into? Have I been smart about my training? It's like so I've been someone that always wants to kind of dissect the why. And unfortunately in life, there's sickness, there's death, there's sometimes things are just tragic. And that I'm not talking about. Let's put that into another box. But the things we're talking about now, resiliency, work ethic, we control that. That's on us.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
And it's no different than going into the gym. Like, you have to flex it, you have to train it. Now, if you burn the candle and you're working 20-hour days, 7 days a week, there's a certain, you got to take care of yourself. But maybe it's a periodization. Maybe there's a period of time, like that year you had to hustle and do $1 million worth of training to dig yourself out of the hole. You might not have had less time than you do now for, your family and stuff. So there's some interesting things there. Like, it doesn't have to be all those things all at once, right?
No, and that's what when I'm ranting and throwing this out there, I don't want everyone to think that this is the path that you have to go down. This was the path that I went down. I want to be very clear about something. I am very happy that I can tell these stories right now and smile about it in a place like this, because sometimes not everyone is that, lucky or hardworking or call what you want. But, I was able to turn out in a good place. But I also understand that we can lose everything. Right? I also understand that one of the best lessons I've learned in life is that I'm expendable. I am. I'm sorry. It's like it was told to me at a very young age, like, you're expendable. And it's a terrible thing for someone to say to you, but we are. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've been really successful in business, is that I understand that. There's no ego there.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, life's going to come at you. So if you don't prepare and take this stuff on, so if you've had those moments like where you're at, my choice and my thought process is to just not only acknowledge it, but to celebrate the time. Like, yeah, I'm getting my ass kicked right now. This is going to be a story that, and you're telling them right now. And I have my own stories. This is my podcast, so I'm not going to tell those today. But
I know your
like
stories.
Those are the stories that you tell your grandkids about, your kids about. Like, that's what life is made of. Do you remember, like, the 10 years that things were just fucking running smooth and you had the same job and Monday through Friday were just so easy? And no, but a lot of people live that way, and they live it all the way till their deathbed, and they're filled with regrets. I mean, so your choice is fucking it's celebrate it.
Yeah, I know. You're 100% right. We have to. And actually, I had a moment the other day where I was in here. It was yesterday, and I turned around. I just took a deep breath, and I just said I said it out loud. It says corny. I just said thank you. Yeah. I just said thank you. It's like, I got my 2 kids inside. I got my wife inside. I got 3 little great dogs. I got a great facility here. We're helping people. We're helping businesses. We're building opportunity. I'm enjoying what I do. It's not perfect every day, right? Like you have your moments, but I just said thank you, and then that was it. And it's just, you got to have those moments where you're appreciative.
So you got the Wicked Barn. I can't wait to come out, do the cold plunge and sauna. But you're going to come out here. We're going to work on stuff like this. So I'm doing my podcast below my vehicle, and I've got the up top, on top of this, the next level is my gym, my home gym with the cold plunge and the sauna. And over here is the other fab room. So I'm doing an engine build right now. It's going to be fucking fun. So we've definitely kind of cultivated and built some similar things, but they're our own like little versions. So it's going to be so much fun. Let's talk about the brand building and what lessons that you have learned that you may be able to pass along to someone that's newer in this field, be it a trainer, maybe a physical therapist or a chiro that's wanting to do like something more than just, obviously you've been hands-on with people all the way up until even now, not losing that part of it, but to grow, to reach and affect more people, or, build something bigger.
It's a line I stole from one of my good friends and mentors, Troy Bailey. He used to use a line to me. He'd say, "Get them pregnant with the idea of you." Right. And it's a very weird way of putting it. But I think what happens is coaches, sometimes doctors, nutritionists, they get excited to work with a brand. You're approached by a product you really like, and it's like, oh, what's the deal structure? And to be honest, like, I got to spend time with the product. I'll spend 3 to 6 months with the product. And I use it. One, is it good? does it do what it says it does, right? That's number one. Two, like, where's what research papers are out there? Who am I going to call who maybe has done a deep dive on this or can give me some literature on it and getting some feedback? Three, am I able to stay consistent with it? Because it could be the greatest thing in the world, and if I'm just putting it on my bedside counter and I'm not using it, I'm not going to try and even sell it because it's not believable. It's not something that I want to use. Like this, I use. Like it's just,
Yep.
I like it. I like the data. I use the data.
Yep.
You have it also. I use the data for what it's worth. I don't live and die by every analytic, but there's things I use for behavioral change, and I learn about my body even to this day. But I think getting them pregnant with the idea of you is something I recommend everyone to do. It's like sit down with the brand, talk to the brand. Why do you like the product? Or if the brand's reaching out to you, oh, I'm interested. I'd love first off. And I say this to every brand I speak to. I always say to them, I say, guys, first off, thanks for the phone call. Like I just I always appreciate. I never take for granted when a brand reaches out to me. And I love the product. Whether we can figure out a deal or not, I'll always use it and I'll always speak highly of it. And I think right there, if it's the truth, and I'm obviously it is the truth because I wouldn't say it if it wasn't. That's something that they appreciate, and I think that lets down a barrier. And they're like, "Wow, this is a good guy." And then suddenly you start trying to create this plan. And like I spoke to a company the other day, and they were trying to do a deal with me. They were so excited about it, and I told them flat out, "I'm like, don't do it." I just told them. And they started, and she was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Guys, you have no inventory. You don't have enough capital. You're just cutting yourself too short here. Wait until the inventory is fulfilled in February, March. You have a raise coming in. Wait till that comes in. Let's figure it out. I'll keep using the product. Come speak to me in the spring." And they're like, "But we really want to work with you." And I'm like, "And I want to work with you. But I'm telling you right now, if we jump into this deal, you guys will be calling me in 3 months trying to restructure the deal. And that I prefer you not to do." And they were like, "We really appreciate your honesty on this." So it's like I understand, and I can speak to a brand in 5 minutes, and I just know how they're delivering the information. Kenny Santucci had an event, a strong event the other day, and I'm sitting there in New York City, and a brand comes to me, and they give me a pitch, and I looked at the guy, I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he just looked at me like this. I'm like, "Seriously, do you even know what you just said?" And again, I'm a little direct, but I think I ended up calming it down a little bit. I'm like, I hope you appreciate my honesty here. But what you just said to me, one, I have no idea what you're talking about. Two, you have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about? He just looked at me like this. I'm like, "You got to get your pitch better. You have no 2 to 3 floor elevator pitch. That's the first thing I need you to lock down. And then guess what? Bring it back to me, and I will be here to help you steer you in the right direction." He reached out to me recently. He goes, "I'd love to talk. Are you back after the new year?" I go, "Absolutely. I'll be in Huntington." I said, "Come on out. Let's sit and let's talk." So yeah, again, where I might be a little it's like, it's the way that I am, because I feel like if you can withstand that and you want to come back and you want to then engage with me and you're like, "No, I need the criticism," then I'm like, "All right, you just made it through phase one. Let's do this. Now I'll be willing to give my time." But the problem is a lot of times I'm giving time and people, they just don't want to hear about it. They just want to talk about how great that they are or how great the product is. And at that point, I'm like, fuck off. So I think the brand deals, I think a lot of coaches get way ahead of themselves with. Learn about the product, see if you even like the product, see if the product even fits into your, stratosphere, and then get them pregnant with the idea. And then be honest. If it's your first deal, tell them that. Don't try and do this fake it till you make it bullshit. You're going to a startup company asking for 10 grand a month. You're like not even close. I've done deals for $250,000. I've done deals for $1,200 a month. Like I've done a lot of different deals. It's like I got to look at the company. I got to look at what stage they're at. I got to look at whether there's equity involved or not. I got to look at if there's a social component to it where they're going to really help drive my profile and really help put me in a good situation and bring press to the table. What's that worth? Is this something that's going to take a lot of my time? Or is this something that's just like a water bottle company? Like it's just in my hand and on my desk and I'm using all the time and it's just very natural. So, I think the brand deals are stuff that a lot of these coaches get a little ahead of themselves with, and take their time.
Yeah.
Take your time, get pregnant with the idea, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And can we dive that down to just the path of like developing your own brand and trying to branch and grow like your business as an
You
entrepreneur
did it.
in other directions. Well, of
You did
course,
it.
but
Yeah, but I mean, not to interrupt, but like going to like you have an engineering background, you're brilliant. I think you know something about weight training, right? Like you're pretty
yeah,
strong.
yeah,
It's an understatement. But like, all right, so you just decided to create like the Maybach of bars, right? Like and now it's funny is that when I go into a gym and it's a real gym, like it's a coach that is a real coach. I'm out in Seattle, my buddy Luca Hosevers, and he's got your Transformer bar, and I think he's got your Cadillac bar, and he's talking to me about the bars, and it's just like you see it. You show up to the facilities now with the real coaches in the real facilities, and those bars are there. That's a really
yeah.
difficult thing for you to do when you're competing with massive companies
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
have endless budgets, right? But you've done it.
So, uh, off of that, because you just kind of challenged me on that end of it, is I'm going to play off of what you just said as far as the brand deals and related to my experience. When I was out early trying to make my way with the sports teams, the colleges, we work with, like 900 of them in almost every professional sports team now. But the message was like, so many people are in there trying to get in front of them and they're just selling them crap. So
Right.
is actually having something authentic to be able to understand, their needs and deliverables. And if you do that, just have something real, you will get introductions. But otherwise, there's so many people that are just, talking the talk. They're great at sales. They've got the pitch. They've got all these things. But like you said, it's something can they connect to, and is it real? Because that's what's gonna differentiate. So spending time to make sure you've got something developed. The other thing, I'll just repeat what you said another way, but this is for people kind of approaching going, should I start a business or do something like that? Just a blunt, no, you shouldn't. Because if they can't get through that, you ain't cut out for it. I'm sorry. Like,
You know what? It's interesting is a lot of people want to sit in the chair and they want to reap all the good things, but they don't want to go through all the tough things in business, right? Like it's suddenly something goes wrong and they're like, I didn't sign up for this. I'm like, no, you did. It was a really funny line. I called one of my mentors years ago. I was having a problem with a landlord. The guy served me with papers for something completely BS. And I call him up. I'm like, what is this guy thinking? This is insane. And my client got on the phone with me and he was like, Don, there's not a day I'm not sitting on the toilet. Someone's trying to sue me. You signed up to be an entrepreneur. Grow the fuck up. And he hung up on me. And I literally turned around and I heard that line and I was like, he's right. Like it's going to happen. Shit's going to happen. Deal with it like an adult. And it was one of those moments where I said, come on, man, like you have thick skin. You're able to handle this. And it was a good challenge for me at that point.
yeah, I had interesting litigation. Few people have come out, but we had one of the major, stodgy old companies that's been around, didn't want innovation. We literally came up with very similar products. Ours was executed about 10 times better. We hit the market first, had it in customers' hands first, and they tried to sue us.
Oh my God.
It was just like, what? It's just ridiculous. And so 2 years of like rigmarole of like, come on, really? And finally, because we didn't run away, they expected us to run away. They expected us not to put up a fight because they had money, they had lawyers, and 24 hours before it went to trial, they came begging to not be countersued.
It's a funny world we live in.
So let's get back to a little bit on the physical aspect of things. But what are your non-negotiables in the mix of all of this as it relates to business and life and all the things that you have to manage when it comes to strength and fitness? What are your non-negotiables?
Non-negotiable strength and fitness. I mean, there's just, when I say non-negotiable, I think these are things that I'm just striving for all the time. Like hydration. It annoys me sometimes because people are like, everything's negotiable. Like you shouldn't have no, like I don't think anyone should be walking around dehydrated, right? Like that's just, for me, that's a non-negotiable. Like you're going to have your occasional bad nights of sleep, but I think, trying to set a bedtime and trying to be responsible and trying to get within a range of hours a night is something that like I really strive for. I'm always, I'm very thoughtful when it comes down to programming or a program that I'm on. And when I commit to that program, I commit to it, but there's never like one style of training all year long I just stick with. Like I've done, ran the conjugate method. I'm a kettlebell instructor. Like I love power building. Like there's so many different things. I love bodybuilding. There's so many different things I love to do, athletic performance, that when I have a phase of training and I dive into it, I commit to it. I think a non-negotiable for me is movement. I think it's training. I think one non-negotiable for me is it's movement quality, right? It's just something where every session I start with something I call practice. And I mean, people beat up like, well, dynamic warm up or prehab, and they call all these different things. And another coach, I call it practice. Like, what do I need to practice to allow my body to kind of floss and move better? Like if I'm lacking in T-spine extension, I need T-spine extension. If I need to work on hips, I work on hips. And like every day it's like this different formula, because every day we're putting our body, in different stresses. And I think allowing myself that time of 10 to 20 minutes before a session where I just practice allows my mind to really kind of unravel and marinate into the session. And then, at that point with my training, my training's been so diverse and it's been so dynamic that, it's whatever I'm committing to, I commit to it. And, rest and recovery is something that I've always struggled with because I just like to be active, but I'm allowing myself days off. And the recovery modalities I do are, it's like putting whipped cream and sprinkles on your ice cream. Like it's one of those things where it helps and I enjoy it, but it doesn't, replace nutrition, and it doesn't replace my rest and recovery, and it doesn't replace all these other things that I'm doing. And, that's really, I've always had somewhat of like I want to say like power building background. Like I've always loved the big three and I've always loved being strong, but I've also in a way, really have thrived more on work capacity. And I was a good runner in college. I mean, I ran a sub 5-minute mile at 219 pounds, which I was pretty proud of. And I've squatted over 500 pounds, which for you, I know is a warm up. It's probably not even a warm up, but for a guy who's 205, 208 pounds, the numbers aren't bad. I've pulled close to 600, but I've never committed to anything to where I think I've gotten exceptional at it. I've just gotten really good for my body comp, my size, and have really kind of become like the jack of all trades of everything, right? It's I'm proud of that because it's allowed me to have a lot of tools in my toolbox to be able to work with a lot of individuals and allow them to enjoy training, and that to me is very important.
Yeah, I think the big lesson there is, our desires, what we need, changes over the course of life. Stay disciplined to whatever it is you're at the time, because that practice of discipline, that practice of behaviors, but within that, move, stay hydrated, take care of the fundamentals. And we are joking about the cold plunge and sauna. You're right. So many people do try to add that stuff on to fix, and it's like it's not magic. It's just a little, enjoyable things that help maybe take it a little further.
It's funny, Chris, I was talking about this earlier today. It just kind of dawned on me. Everyone right now is like, they're using this line, like, I try and get myself uncomfortable every day. Like, are you hearing all this?
Oh yeah.
Everyone's like, I try and get myself uncomfortable every day. I'm like, great. Guys are waking up and they're like, well, I do something cold in the morning. I throw cold water on my face, or I get in a cold shower. I try to get myself uncomfortable. A lot of these people, they're soft at the things that are really important. They don't want to show like, okay, well, get uncomfortable and go to bed earlier.
Yeah.
Get uncomfortable and get up this morning, when I got to be in Brooklyn by 8:30, means I have to train at 4:30. Like, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Getting under a bar at that hour, that's uncomfortable. Like, but they're like focusing on getting uncomfortable and things that are like almost a little easy to do. Like cold
Yep.
plunge I don't think a cold plunge is that difficult. Like anyone can train to do a cold plunge.
Yep.
In the beginning, it's going to suck. You're going to get in cold water. You're going to freeze your ass off. After a while, you're in 35-degree water, and you're like this. It's like 3 minutes is up.
Yep.
You feel great. You move on. But everyone's so like, no one wants to create their own shit.
Yeah, if you want to get uncomfortable, quit your job. Go back to school.
Exactly.
Get up on the stage and do some public speaking.
Right.
Be real on social media and like I'm not in a great spot. Like, yeah, that's some uncomfortable fucking shit.
How about this? You've been in a toxic relationship for the last 10 years.
Walk away.
Or you have a relative that's a piece of shit that's bringing you down every second.
Yeah.
Like, how about this? Stand up to that person, get uncomfortable. What? Getting in a fucking sauna is uncomfortable? Seriously? Like, it almost makes me angry. Like, come on, man. You guys are making choices on how you want to get uncomfortable. Like, it's not, what is this? Like suddenly giving you this crazy discipline that, you're going to be bulletproof now? Like, it doesn't work that way.
Go apply it. Get uncomfortable and go apply it in a way that's actually practical and moves your life forward.
Yeah. How about that? Yeah.
I love that.
Love it.
Yeah. How do you see society's view of strength and fitness evolving? We've seen a lot of that during the course of our lifetime, for sure. But how do you see that evolving in the future as approach to things like therapy, self-improvement, personal development, and just, strength as a whole?
Let's talk about maximizing your strength and resilience. When chasing my 1,000-pound squat, I made my own supplements out of necessity to help push my body to its physical limits. So I founded Build Fast Formula because I needed supplements that actually worked every time I trained. All our formulas are backed by peer-reviewed research and third-party informed sport tested for quality and safety. Listeners can get 10% off by using code RESILIENCE at buildfastformula.com. That's code RESILIENCE for 10% off everything at buildfastformula.com. Find your formula and feel your physicality today.
Yeah, I'm actually happy in the direction it's going because I'm seeing a lot more people strength training now, and I'm seeing a lot of, back in the day when I started coaching, women were, I don't want to get bigger. I very rarely hear that anymore, right? People understand the importance of strength. They understand the importance of body armor. And for me, I think that's really important. I think there's so many lessons that this has taught you and I, right? Like Chris, getting under a bar those mornings when things weren't going well for you for years, and just having that, retreat, having that place to kind of go to. It was for me, it's always been the one thing in my life I've had complete control over, knock on wood. I just feel like I could be in the worst place, go in there, and there's a switch, and I do what I have to do, and I leave, and I'm a different person. It's part of my survival. So when I talk about this stuff, I don't want to talk about it to where people think that there's this vanity component. Of course there is. We want to look good, right? But this for me is way more about this than it is this. And I am happy with the direction it's going. I think there's a lot of fluff out there right now. I think there's a lot of information. I think there's 23-year-olds talking about life lessons where, they haven't, do they have the right to talk about that? I don't think so. But I think the general consumer right now needs to be careful of where they're getting their messaging from. On the flip side, if you have someone that's sedentary and they were on the couch 365 days last year, and, John Doe over here, who doesn't know jack shit about training, was able to get that person off the couch and get them in a great place physically and mentally, I'm applauding them, right? But I just think there's a lot of, I'd like to see a little bit more quality control with social media and with information being put out there. And there's a lot of great benefits to AI, but there's a lot of things going on right now that aren't really happening. And I always hated the whole fake plate thing being used with weights. And I feel like with performance enhancing substances, to each his own. If you're going to take it, but own it. Just say I've done it, and just say it was part of my training and what I do, and take ownership on it. I just think there needs to be.
I've done it. I've done it, and I did it. Apparently, squatted 1,000.
But let's be clear about something.
But I don't suggest, I think most people should not touch it. Like that's I learned some lessons in the course of it. I had some values that I learned from it. And, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah, it is. And I love and I appreciate your honesty. Some of my best friends take it, and as I buried one of my best friends who I found dead in he's my head coach. I found him dead in his apartment. His testosterone levels were over 3,000. And, so just, to each his own with that stuff. But I think like I have a 15-year-old son and he's coming in like, is this real? And that to me gets annoying because I'm like, come on, man, like this is a kid, and you're misleading him. Me, I'm an adult. Like I can make my own decisions. If I'm misled, I'm misled. But like, I think a lot of what children are seeing right now is tough. So there's things I'm really happy about in the industry. And there's things I think we could do a better job with. And I think it's always going to be like that. But I think what we have at our fingertips now, the information we have, even someone being able to come on and listen to you, I think it's extraordinary. 25 years ago, we didn't have this type of information, right?
Arnold's Encyclopedia Bodybuilding and Bill Pearl. That was it. Bill Pearl.
I was reading about Dr. Squat. I was reading about Tom Platz, and I was reading, Fred Hatfield. And,
what year was it you started training, Don?
Professionally, it was 1999, and personally, I was 16, so I'm 46. So we're looking at 30. What is that now? 30 years ago.
Yeah. Dang, we're the exact same age.
Well, so, come on, baby.
I started push-ups and like body weight squats and running with ankle weights, like something like that around like 88, 89. And then lifting around 90. And then 2000 is when I like got really, really serious. So
yeah, you got really serious.
Yeah. So
I love it. Good stuff.
But I was late to following my passion, and unlike yourself. So didn't have that great mentor like your mom was to say, hey.
Yeah, she was legit. She's legit. She still is. But that's another thing too. Like I think in life, like sometimes you can't always choose a mentor. A mentor chooses you, right? And you just got to know where you're asking questions. And I think if anyone has that person that they can go up to, and that person's going to give them a very unbiased opinion, and they're going to be able to look at you and be like, no, you're wrong. Like one of my best friends, actually he is my best friend. He's 61. He's, I know when I call him and I give him, I'm asking questions or want his opinion on something. He's never sugarcoated a thing in my life. And it's probably why I love him. Right? It's I think that's important.
But you're supposed to fuck all the haters, and anybody that has anything negative to say is against you. Right?
Exactly.
I don't understand, Don.
Yeah, no.
A friend is doubting, like, come on. God, don't you know how this works today? Aren't you on social? Like
crazy. So funny.
When my wife and I were dating, her friends had never met me, and she like one day, she's like, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm moving to the States and getting married. And her friends, she sat down to tell them, and they're just like, what are you doing? And she was like, not the response. She was gutted. She's gutted. She called me. She's crying. I'm like, babe, those are amazing friends. She's like, but they don't like you. And I'm like, they care for you. They don't know me. Like, I mean, I've been up there a time or two. We've, gone out for dinner or drinks or whatever, but like, they don't know me. This means they care for you. Like,
I know.
And most people would probably be like, fuck them, but like, people are going to say the hard things sometimes. And so sometimes the people around you that are the ones that are always yes men, but maybe they secretly are hoping for your fall down, or, it's hard to know sometimes.
That's probably where I think I've evolved the most in my life now. It's like I feel like my business world has expanded, but my social world has diminished a little bit. But it's just out of choice. Like I like my family inside. I have some really good friends, and I don't get to see them much. So I think we just start prioritizing where we want to put our time. And for me, waking up on a Saturday morning early and playing hockey and getting a workout in and going to have breakfast with my kids, like that's like, I don't want to be out on a Friday night. It's just not what I'm into doing. So I think you really become very comfortable with who you are and what you want.
Yeah.
Where maybe when you're younger, you're kind of chasing the dragon a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So it's a drill I do with my community. I have them write down things that they want to try and improve for 2024. And whether there's 4 things, 6 things, 12 things, you're going to prioritize them in what you think is the order of importance. And you're going to spend a month working on each one rather than trying to do it all at once. And I think what this allows you to do is to really focus on that one thing rather than throwing in 10 things on day one, and then you're inconsistent in 3 days and you lose confidence and you lose motivation to want to do it. So let's just say hydration is one of those things that you want to work on. Let's spend January trying to get half your body weight in ounces of water. Let's say steps is something in month 2. Let's spend month 2 trying to increase our number of steps to a number that's a goal. Let's just take that amount of time. And what people are fascinated about is they spend a lifetime trying to incorporate some of these habits, and they end up making whatever it is, 4, 6, 8, 12 changes, in that year, right? 1 a month. So I think it's just taking a deep breath, assessing that there might be things that you have to start doing a better job of. It might be where you need to start cutting back on desserts. Maybe you're having desserts 7 nights a week and you're like, no, I'm going to do it once a week. And you're going to set a plan over the next 4 weeks to just do it once a week, right? We don't have to give these things up indefinitely. Chocolate cake is not something that's going to kill you, but it can make you very unhealthy if you have too much of it. So why don't we leave a little bit of it in moderation? But set a plan, set a goal, spend that month trying to incorporate that into your lifestyle and make it habit. And I think you'll find that you'll pick up on these habits much quicker, and they'll stick for life.
I love it. Just like putting 2.5 pounds on the bar every week, Same concepts. What we learned from the gym has so much value.
Love it. Thanks, Chris.
I think that's a pretty good place to kind of close this out. Like, where can people?
We're on an hour 15 already. I mean, Jesus, Chris.
Yeah. So where can people find you? And all the good. Yeah.
Yeah, DonSaladino.com is my site, and my Instagram and all my social handles are Don Saladino. If you guys shoot me a DM, you have any questions, let me know. Chris, you're a gem, man. You really are. You're an icon in the business. It's been so great to get to know you and call you a friend, and I love what you're doing over there. And like I said, any way I can help, you just holler, right?
Yeah.